So thank you for doing this interview. We've got a couple of questions. So first off, of all areas of esports, why was casting the one you wanted to get into?
Well, kind of like when it came to like CS in general, obviously like we both played the game and we got to like a decent level, but it got to a point where like we saw the avenue of casting, like it's very out there. There's so many like tournaments and events that they're going to need casters for. And we also thought that because we have quite a depth of knowledge when it comes to CS, it meant that like we could do casting, and also we both speak quite well, I guess.
And coming off that, just quickly, why do you think that you two both work so well together? And do you think that there's a gap in the market somewhat for duo casters over solo casters being put together?
I think, we work well together because we started off not as casters. Like, we started off as like friends and stuff, I guess. So like our chemistry together, I think, is more there than people who just get thrown together. I think for smaller tournaments, there's like a lot of solo casters and shit, and I don't think, and I think more duo casters there need to be like implemented more. But for the bigger events, that's like all duo casters and stuff. But I think for the smaller tournaments, there's that gap in the market for those duos.
So would you say that working as a duo makes you stronger and increases your drive to do better and succeed?
Yeah, well, I think it kind of like we kind of both like push each other to do better, because like there are times when we're casting and it'll be like, oh, I made an easy mistake and stuff like that, and it kind of like with experience, like obviously let's say you're working as a solo caster and every week you're put with another solo to make a duo, it means that kind of you won't kind of get that constant not updates on your progress or anything like that, but like you'll have someone who's able to talk to you and able to go, you know what, I feel like you need to do this and this. Whereas if you're just a solo caster, you're not going to have that. Can't think of the word.
Dang,
I don't know.
That's good.
You can cut that out.
So what kind of struggles have you had getting into the casting scene, considering you have to start from scratch essentially?
I think it's mainly like getting your foot in the door. I think it doesn't matter how good you are if you don't have the connections, and I think that's the same with like every part of esports. I think it's once you're there and tournaments and like talent, like advisors and whatever, like know who you are, it's easy to get more opportunities. But I think once you're starting off, I think we got quite lucky.
Yeah.
Being brought into the SCL pretty early, but I think like if we didn't have that, I think we'd probably just be casting like public ESEA games until we finally do get that opportunity.
I think as well, it's like the like professionalism side of it. Like a lot of like tournament organizers and also like organizations might not take you seriously because like before casting, like we both had no following, we had no experience or anything like that. So it's kind of like one of them ones where like you either have to go the route where you are casting public games for years and years and years and eventually get a break, or it's one of the ones where, in our situation, we spoke to the right people, we were there at the right time, and it kind of just worked out for us, I guess.
So you said that you didn't really have any following before this all kicked off. Have you ever doubted yourselves or had any internal mental problems about success within the casting scene?
I think very early on, like when we first started casting, we were like, even like 2 days in, we were like, we like asking people and they weren't like kind of even seeing our messages or anything like that, and it kind of led us to think, this is gonna be a lot harder than we thought. But like we went back and we checked it, and it was like after 3 days of us like casting like actual events, we were already on HLTV, which obviously like for people that don't know is like the big CS hub for games and stuff like that. So it's like I think early on we were very like doubting of our ability, but also like kind of the chances that we would get, because why would they get us over someone else? Because they've got experience, they've got kind of reputation, whereas we're just nobodies, I guess.
I also think it's like easy to shut yourself down, like when there's like bigger tournaments that you kind of want to apply for, but they've got a lot more experienced casters or people who've been around for longer, and you sometimes like think, oh, maybe we're not good enough for that. We've got to like cast our own level, I suppose.
So you said that there's bigger tournaments that you'd like to apply for. Do you think the fact that you're working as a duo kind of pushes you both to want to do it for the other person and do it as a duo, in opposed to if you're doing it by yourself, you'd be like, oh, maybe I won't apply for it?
I was DMing someone about a decent opportunity, and they were like, oh yeah, we only want a solo cast. We were like, no, like, we'll do it as a duo for the same price, or we're happy to do that. But I feel like there's no point progressing on our own. Like, let's say I get an opportunity, or Charlie gets an opportunity to do a larger event. It means that, like, one, you might be seen a little bit negative because, like, you're not sticking as a duo, and also, like, I feel like we've grown so much as a duo for, like, casting in the last, like, couple months, and I feel like if we were to kind of take those opportunities, like a solo, or take a solo opportunity, it might, like, be a little bit negative. And also, like, the thoughts towards one another, like, subconsciously, if Charlie took a solo event, I might just be like, oh, you know, I guess no longer, like, sticking together.